Amélie Sandemoval, publisher of the Paypers, and today I'm joined by Kilian Thalhammer, Managing Director, Global Head of Merchant Solutions, Fintech and Platform Sales at Deutsche Bank. So hi Kilian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, and great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, super. So this interview is part of a series focused on the power of partnerships, where we dive into what makes collaborations work and how they're shaping the future of payments. And today, with Kilian, we will take a closer look at Deutsche Bank's partnership with Silverflow and discuss how it enabled Deutsche Bank to get back in the acquiring business. So, Kilian, 5 years ago, you joined Deutsche Bank as Managing Director, Global Head of Merchant Solutions, Fintech and Platform Sales. Can you tell a bit more about your role and what attracted you to take on this position?
Yeah, that was a good question to kicking off the interview. I think when I look back 5 years ago, I think the demand from Deutsche Bank was to find someone who can build up the acquiring business for a large global bank from scratch. Deutsche decided strategically to enter that business again and want to build it up. And that was something where I said, okay, that is interesting to build such a proposition in a global bank, not as a separate business, not as a standalone business, but integrated with the capability of a large bank and a global bank. And this is what we started 5 years ago, not only in Europe, but also in the other jurisdictions where Deutsche Bank is present, because it's clearly stated as an upselling product for our existing clients. And that is really a new challenge for me. And now 5 years later, and next to the acquiring business, what I'm owning for Deutsche, I'm also responsible for the issuing part and for the business that Deutsche Bank is doing with fintechs, with with the digital economy, and also with platform business. So now we are back in the game, and partners and partnerships are a big part of that story.
Yeah. So back when you started building out these acquiring capabilities, I guess you were looking for a partner who could provide a card payment processing platform. And this is a pretty saturated market. I mean, there's a number of established providers offering these services. How did you convince Deutsche Bank to choose for a relatively new company, more like a startup as Silverflow?
Yeah, and honestly, that was not easy, because it was not a straightforward decision to work with a startup, with a relatively new company, because we started that partnership not 5 years ago, but at least 3.5 years ago. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of processes within a bank, vendor governance, RFP processes, things like that. And normally it's always easier to go with the legacy player. So because these are established players, these are players who are known in the market, normally already doing business with the large banks, and that would be the easy way. But we definitely decided, okay, let's do it differently. Let's set our chips on a different player and things like that. And yes, there was a lot of convincing talks needed with my colleagues, which is also totally fair, because this is how our bank is working. This is how our governance is working, and there are good reasons for that. But at the end, we convinced via the product and the capabilities, and we said, okay, guys, this is new tech. We are new in the game. We are not shifting existing acquiring business, because there was no acquiring business. We're building it up. So we want to do it at least slightly differently. And we have a company where the domain expertise is there, where the technology is new. The only, let's call it, disadvantage is the company is new to the game. So at least 3.5 years ago, and that is, and I said, okay, the pros are better than the cons. And at the end, we finally made it, and we convinced them and said, okay, we don't want to do a similar project we already did in other areas. We want to do it differently.
And Kilian, if you look into tech, obviously new player, they have new tech, I guess API, microservices, cloud native. But was it just the tech, or what sort of build up that decision?
It's not only the tech. The tech is obviously, as you stated, if you build such a processing platform from scratch, you normally go to all the new stuff. It's cloud native, APIs, things like that, all the modern thing, which obviously the platforms which are much older have not on their plate, which is normal because these platforms are built whatever 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and things like that. And it's hard to switch. But it's not only the tech. Number two, next to the tech, Silverflow has a quite agile approach. They had a different approach how to make business with their partners, which are normally banks or PSPs. It's much more agile, much more fast, much more iterative, much more. It's a different way, things like that. And that fits to our approach to enter the market from the sideline, not knowing exactly do we go left or do we go right. That means we need a player who is flexible. So we are not in the game in writing large requirements document and then building that stuff for 2 years and then go live and then realizing, oh, maybe it's not the right fit. So that's so it was dynamic. It was also that we had clients included in our go-to-market. This was not a standalone product build. It was jointly with clients. That means you need flexibility, and that means you need a partner who is flexible, not only tech-wise but also process-wise. So that was one of the big reasons, or one of the major reasons, to work with them and still being fast in delivery. We're not talking about years. We're talking about weeks and months, and that was especially for a bank a big advantage.
I get it. And in terms of, I mean, now you're working with them. Can you elaborate a little bit about sort of the partnership and how your teams work together?
Yeah, we work really together. It's more a partnership than a vendor relation and things like that. We approach the market jointly. It's not that Deutsche is front running it and Silverflow is delivering, or the other way around. We do it jointly. We have cases which came through the pipeline of Silverflow. We have cases who came through our sales force. We're discussing together how to approach it, what is the best setup, and things like that. And that's really the same type of. We are on the same level and are really open to discuss what is at the end the best solution for the market, because we are acquiring, or acceptance in general is a saturated market. So we are not new in the game. The products are at the end commoditized, so things like that. So they're not big differentiators, especially when we talk about card payments. So you need a joint approach, and especially doing that not with another acquirer, doing that with a bank is, we think, a different strategic approach. And this is what we are doing together.
And maybe a little bit about the platform, Kilian. Are there any features in the platform that has been most valuable for your business? Any specific product features?
Yeah, I think there are always two types of features when we talk about card processing features. The one is the stuff we are anyhow are mandated from the schemes. And this is where Silverflow is definitely state of the art, and we don't have a, let's call it, catch-up problem. So we have all the stuff we anyhow need to do. So click to pay, tokenization, things like that. So that's number one. So number two, we are doing the processing for all channels. Was also interesting. It is POS and e-commerce and things like that. So we are not in the world where you have a e-com processing platform and a POS processing platform. We have one platform. So that's a good thing. And at the end, which is in a commoditized business really important, especially for our larger merchants, we see high authorization rates. We really see a good BAU model, because at the end, processing has to work. That's it. So as long as you don't hear something from your processor, then it's good. And that's exactly what we see right now. And this combination, part of that we know upfront. The BAU thing you don't know upfront. Also the authorization rate, because it's not so easy to test that upfront. You need to see it in the real environment, and it works quite good.
Get the volume there, and
you need volume. Without volume, you will not see it. And now we have the volume, and we see quite good results there.
Okay, so 3 years ago you started this. If we look into the future, what is on the roadmap to build together with Silverflow for the next years?
As I stated in the beginning, we see acquiring as an extension for our existing clients. Could be large clients, could be multinationals, but could also be mid-cap. As Deutsche Bank serving them globally, that means also our acceptance proposition needs to be a global proposition. We are already live to a certain degree in APAC, and also in the US with our acceptance proposition, but not 100% on our own rails, not 100% on card acquiring. That means we want to extend that. We want to check, does it make sense to have one global processor, yes or no? That's exactly the discussion we have right now. And the other topics is we want to multiply. We want to show that this, what we have live here, this is where our merchants already running on, is something which is here to scale. So it's really about scaling. It's not so much about new features. You will always have new features. We will always have new mandates, but that is normal stuff. We want to scale, and we want to show that this is a global infrastructure and that we can leverage that in other regions.
Thank you so much, Kilian. Really great insights on a partnership between a big bank and a fintech. I mean, there's so much talk about this fintech bank collaboration. You're actually doing this and have this wonderful experience with Silverflow. So thanks a lot for sharing your insights, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for the interview. Have a good day.
Great.
See you. Bye.